Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Ifeni. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Victoria Tundu. I'm Kyo Abiola.
Good morning, Mr. Ifeni.
Yes. Let's start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story, APC Convention. Buhari governors agree on consensus candidates. Now, if we look at that story, yes, settled for Abdullahi Adamu as consensus candidate for chairman. President warns against fleeting gains of 7 years away, meets chairmanship aspirants. Those against consensus free to run, says Bagudu. Boni wants media against igniting crisis as committee extends screening. Party optimistic about court judgment on Ayade deputy. Just before we discuss that story, there are other stories on the front page of this day. The window story, yes, this is a story we've been dealing with in the last 1 week. Federal government talks tough, moves against oil thieves as Buhari deploys Silva Kyari, Chief of Defense Staff, to Niger Delta. Your days are numbered, Minister tells saboteurs. Yes, following the public outrage over the quantum of Nigerian oil being stolen. Some say 95%, others say 80%. And of course, the central bank governor waded into that issue yesterday with the Nigeria's foreign reserve being depleted. And we've been calling on the Minister of Petroleum on this program, President Muhammadu Buhari, to do something. Well, this is his response. The Chief of Defense Staff, MD of NNPC, and of course the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, all heading to the Niger Delta. Well, I thought they could have taken action even before the president's directive, but it's better late than never. That this is the bleeding of the Nigerian economy, and somebody has to stop it, and very fast too. Now, the other story, just by the photograph, this front page of this day, for the 6th time, Atiku declares presidential bid. Saraki intensifies consultation, meets PDP stakeholders. Yes, yesterday, Atiku declared his intention to vie for the ticket, the presidential ticket of the PDP. Well, the PDP has not decided whether it is zoning its presidential ticket to a particular region. Consultations are still on, but it's Atiku trying to force the hand of the PDP to throw it open so that he can contest, as it were. Not so much about the 5-point agenda he has put on the table, but more about whether the party has zoned or will be zoning the ticket to a particular part of the country, that is north, south, or throwing it open. Now, back to the APC story, because other newspapers are also reporting that story on their front pages. The Daily Trust newspaper, APC chairmanship, governors bow to Buhari, agree on Adamu. President gives them 24 hours to finalize unity list. Meets aspirants, solicits support for ex-Nasarawa governor. Others refund of money to contenders affected by consensus. Now, the Nation newspaper, Buhari governors agree on Adamu as consensus chair. Senator Nnamani, South. Senator Kyari, North, endorsed as deputy chairman on unity list. No election at convention. Other chair aspirants to get refund of nomination fee. While the Vanguard newspaper also reporting this story as its lead. APC Convention, Buhari, APC Govs insist on consensus candidate. While the leadership newspaper, National Chairmanship, APC Govs concede to PMB as on consensus candidate. Say, we will support president's anointed aspirant. Pressure mounts on other aspirants to step down ahead of convention. Buni meets senators today. Now, the Guardian newspaper has a different story on the PDP this time around. The Guardian, PDP governors resolve to change leadership in 2023. Ishaku, Otom Ugwain, Fayoshe, 34 others in panel on zoning. Atiku says 2023 is choice between greatness, destruction. Fintiri dumps governors camp for Atiku. Lawmakers excited over Saraki's presidential ambition. While the Daily Sun newspaper also reporting on the PDP governors meeting, PDP governors roar over bad state of affairs. List Buhari's failures, urge Nigerians to reject APC in 2023. Opposition party replies opposition party replies presidency, accuses APC government of failure, while the Punch newspaper has its lead on the Electoral Act. National Assembly plans appeal, tackles Judge Malami insists on amendment. Gbajabiamila asks Attorney General not to tamper with Electoral Act. Court ruled that the provision be deleted, not part of our law. Malami, APC moves to bar appointees from voting at convention primaries. Now, the New Telegraph newspaper, Electoral Act saga, National Assembly to appeal judgment on Section 84, subsection 12. We can't be ridiculed. Gbajabiamila, deletion work in progress. Malami is insisting. Now, the Business Day newspaper, Nigeria faces slower economic growth in 2022. Of course, the Economics Intelligence Unit said on Wednesday that Nigeria is likely to face slower economic growth in 2022. Now, the foreign newspapers quickly. The Times of London, biggest fall in living standards since 1950s. Rishi Sunak's tax cuts not ease heaviest burden on the British public in post-war era. Yes, the Rishi Sunak's tax cut not eased heaviest burden on the British public in post-war era. Of course, the Daily Telegraph is also reporting the same story, the biggest fall in living standards in record. Sunak announces 1 pence income tax cut, but Office for Budget Responsibility says it will not offset historic cost of living increase. Now, the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, attempting to assert his credentials as a tax-cutting chancellor, was yesterday, as official forecast showed, Britain is in the biggest fall in living standards since the records began in 1956. The Chancellor issued his spring statement to cut fuel duty by 5 pence a litre and announced that the threshold which people start paying national insurance will rise from £9,568 to £12,750 in July. Yes, Rufai, you were saying that cuts the fuel rebate, or whatever you call it, not good enough. But let's look at what the Wall Street Journal is reporting. Russian casualties are mounting. Biden is in Brussels for talks with allies. NATO says Moscow has lost up to fifth of its forces. while the New York Times is reporting, aiming to limit allies boost forces near Ukraine. Biden in Europe to meet with NATO, but there is fear that the conflict will spread. Ruben Rufai and Todo.
What I'm interested in is a local story, which was what happened in Lagos yesterday, creating so much chaos between the mainland and the island when we were told that there was a fire incident under the bridge at Adamu. And you only need to see the video of that, crisis, and how this same Adamu bridge that was renovated not too long ago by contractors, by Julius Berger to be specific, was affected. Just because people now these days in Lagos and elsewhere, they erect shops under bridges and nobody, drives them away. It has taken this chaos that occurred in Lagos
these days is an understatement. It's been happening for a long time.
Yes, but it has taken yesterday's incident for the national body in charge of bridges, the safety of bridges, to now issue an ultimatum that all federal bridges and any other bridge anywhere in the country, that people should leave, should vacate
setbacks,
those places and stop turning them into commercial centers. And this is what happens in many regards in this country, whether it is oil theft or it is abuse of public infrastructure.
But people collect rent from those traders.
Well, local councils, who are those, local council officials who are, affected in this regard? Because sometimes some of the things that happen just don't make sense at all. Mm-hmm. How can anybody be, creating fire, making fire under the bridge? People could have lost their lives.
Of course.
Okay, so I think that, this should be investigated. And I've heard some people saying government needs to pay compensation to the owners of those illegal structures. There's nowhere in the world where you see people, making fire under a public...
but Ruben, if a government has been collecting levies from them, is that not legalizing the illegal? So those who are asking for compensation are not, they are not out of tune. Because some governments, whether at any level, their governments have been collecting some rates from these people.
See, I'm sorry to say we are mad in this country.
No, we are not mad.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. You are not mad.
No, we're mad in this country.
No, we are not
because,
mad.
Let me prove to you.
We are just not doing things properly.
Is that not classical division of madness?
I don't think so.
Doing something stupid and hoping to get different results. Is that not about Einstein's division of madness? Doing something over and over again that is stupid and you expect to get a different result. Is that not what is madness? How would you, in the first place, have a shop set up under a bridge? Where do you see they do that in the world?
Okay, let me shock you now. There are big corporate organizations in this Lagos that use underbridge as their warehouse.
Underbridge as their warehouse. Is it right?
Are they not paying to somebody?
Does it make it right?
Are they not paying to somebody?
That's the reason why we are mad. Does that make it right?
I'm not
Should
mad.
they even start it in the first place? Should they even do that? You are supposed to leave setbacks. And it's not only at Bongo Bridge. Look at under this bridge in Ikoyi. The one that once you are coming from the mainland, you descend and to get into, what's it called now? Obalende. That place, people live there. People do all sorts there.
Faloma
under bridge.
It's a thriving market.
It's a thriving market. So are we supposed to go there in the first place?
At 10 p.m., 11 p.m., you get hot
pepper soup.
Rice and pepper soup.
And pepper soup under
Yes.
Yes. It's people's ecosystem they live. Are people supposed to live under bridge?
Is even more notorious.
Worse than that. So if a fire starts there, you affect the integrity of the bridge with the fire. We keep saying, can't we? You see, that's why I say we are mad. Can't we go out and look at other people in the world? Have you, Battersea Bridge was built in 1865 in London. Have you seen anybody trading under Battersea Bridge in London? Have you ever had fire burnt and burnt a bridge from London?
Or selling jollof rice under the bridge.
There is an under bridge close to my place. That's what they also do there. They cook, people live there, and they do all sorts of things there.
Is it even hygienic to be cooking under bridge? Is it even hygienic?
So the government should do what it has to do, and no government, whether local or state, should be also be allowed to be collecting levies from these poor traders. Because once you do that, it's like you are legitimizing what they are doing.
Of course.
That's why they were asking for compensation yesterday, that government should take pity on them and See what they have lost. You know we've been paying levies.
Stop defending the
No, I'm not defending. You are saying why are they asking for levies? I'm giving you the reason.
Well,
because
they feel they have
yes, because they've been paying levies to the local government in that area.
Investigated to whom exactly?
No, the local government, they are not in doubt about that. There's no argument about that.
Investigated.
And just to prove how mad we are, you see, all of this we've said now, it finishes here. You will see that after the government said people should move off the bridge, I give you another 3 weeks to a month. You will see them back there under the bridge. Somebody saying we were not mad.
Tunu, can you bring some sanity because we are not mad into the discussion?
I wanted to talk about Rishi Sunak. We didn't really get the chance with Mr. Wilson. What are your thoughts on the spring statement and the accusations that he's been really political, pushing politics over the welfare of the public and how the poor are going to suffer because he's holding back to sort of give somebody like a bumper harvest before the elections, because electorates have short memories. People do remember what has been done just before the election. So he's holding back, and he's been really accused of cruelty.
Well, he is a politician.
Yes.
And if he's trying to use his office to show up the fortunes of the conservatives, you won't blame him. But clearly, it's not right for the suffering people. If you have measures that will bring relief to the people, give them now. Why are you waiting on the eve of the election before you start dishing out goodies so that you can win election? Well, I'm sure the British people will be taking note.
I'm sure they do from a lot of Nigerian politicians too, by the way.
Everybody does it.
Yeah,
that's the name of the game.
Yeah,
all over the world.
Politicians around the world.
It's on the eve of the election we start seeing performance.
I'm optimistic about this effort to address crude oil theft, because sending the Minister of State, asking people to relocate, we've had that kind of strategy too many times in this country. When there's a security crisis in Plateau State, you will hear that the Inspector General of Police should relocate to the scene of the crime. But at the end of the day,
sometimes disobey the president.
Well, but in this case, I mean, these are appointees of the president. They will not. I don't think they would.
Well, they are there to check what they can do, but from the quantity we're talking about, they are not about what these petty refiners use.
Artisanal.
Yes, it's not what they can. When you are talking of losing 80%, even if we just have to use the lowest figure that is in the public domain of your oil sales, this oil, they are leaving the country. I can tell you that this crude, part of this crude being stolen, they are leaving the country into the oil markets. So it's not a matter of just looking after some artisanal
fingerprinting. But you know, the upstream authority is saying that, look, they will start an investigation to determine how much we produce.
They're also looking at the other side. Whether those raising alarm are also producing what they claim to be producing, or whether they are actually delivering into the pipelines what
I hope the upstream regulatory authority will make their report public when they finish the investigation. Because NATI, you know, yesterday one of the things we were looking at was a report by NATI on oil theft. Now, at least NATI tries to be transparent. We'll say this is what is happening. So we expect the upstream regulatory authority to either confirm, you know, the figures given by NATI, which I assume is based on, you know, detailed research, or to make appropriate suggestions as to what is to be done. But what is heartening about all of this is that the president himself, as the Minister of Petroleum Resources, has taken responsibility. Because the Upstream Regulatory Authority chair says, you know, they are acting on the instructions of the president.
Dr. Abasi, this is another shocking level of hypocrisy. Thank God we dig down the tweet of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. So since 2015, that the vice president has been vice president of this country, it is in 2022. Now they are just setting up a body to go and investigate crude oil thefts. It is well.
Well, no, I don't know why they're even singling out the tweet of the vice president.
So it's not
there are many other aspects of our national life which the party, APC, the president as candidate and his running mate really tongue-lashed the government of the day, and they said they were going to change things in a short while.
Well,
we have seen it has not happened. It has not happened in electricity. It has not happened in oil theft.
Thank you. Point well made.